Ragavan අමාත්‍යතුමා ඔබතුමාට විනාඩි 10ක කාලයක් ලැබෙනවා.
ස්තුති சபாபதித்துமணி. இன்றைக்கு பாலஸ்தீனிய நாட்டின் அந்த நாட்டு மக்களின் பிரிக்க முடியாத உரிமையை பற்றி பேசும்போது அதே நேரத்தில் today is the memorial day of great Nelson Mandela, who also stood against the historicized racism in that country. I would urge the leaders of this country, the religious leaders of this country, intellectuals of this country, also to look at Sri Lanka's problem, where every Tamil, every Sinhalese, every Muslim, every Vedda person can live in equal dignity as citizens. And that question is in front of us, Honorable Chair, without which our speaking about Palestinian rights, our speaking about liberation of Palestinians will be an internationally questionable stand. I see Honorable Siddharthan, who is seated in front of me, who had the first contacts with the PLO organizations as students of liberation for one part of this country. The history has changed. Therefore, let us, across this division of ruling and opposition, assure deepening democracy in Sri Lanka, irrespective of your religion, irrespective of your ethnicity, irrespective of your language you speak. Assalamu alaikum. அநேக முஸ்லீம் மாணவர்களும் பார்வையாளர்களும் வந்திருக்கின்ற இந்த நேரத்திலே என்னுடைய வேண்டுகோள், பலஸ்தீன நாட்டின் விடுதலை வெறுமனே ஒரு இஸ்லாமிய நாட்டின் விடுதலை மட்டுமல்ல, அது மதத்துக்கு நாங்கள் சமப்படுத்தக்கூடாது. It is not a issue anymore of a religious community. It is about international justice. It is about international fair play. It is about fair play of natural justice, as much as the King David, who in his Psalms talked about. King David, whose star is on the flag of the Israel state. ரசூலும் நபியுமான தாவூது சொன்னது போலவே நீதியும் நேர்மையும் தாகமும், நீதிக்கான தாகமும் இறைவனுடைய பாதடியிலே இருக்கின்றது. ஆகையினாலேதான் இஸ்ராயலை பற்றி நாங்கள் கதைக்கும், பலஸ்தீனை பற்றி கதைக்கும் போது இது வெறுமனே ஒரு நாட்டுக்கான விடுதலை மட்டுமல்ல, இது உலக நீதியின் பாதையிலே இருந்து நாங்கள் கதைக்க வேண்டியது. This is a cosmic relationship about justice and injustice. This is an eternal issue of fair play. Therefore, as a country which is embedded by the Buddhist philosophy, let us take a middle path. Let us call our friends who are suffering from both sides. Israel nation has a right to survive with dignity, without fear, without terrorism. In the same breath, same length, same depth, Palestinian state has a right to survive with its own history, dignity, and global citizenship. Therefore, as a country of this size, this economy, but with our intellectual capacity to contribute to the international affairs, let us stand together and call the international community, whether it is ICC, which has been given the mandate. ICC had played the role of self-appointed messiah of this issue for decades. But where are the results? Then the ICJ, International Court of Justice, what are their positions on this? Honorable Chair, therefore, as a country of believing in Kudumba and Vasudeva policies, everybody is our friend, to no one we are enemies. That is how Sri Lankan foreign policy had been for a long time. Therefore, under the same platform, we should call, particularly the international countries, international big powers, the Security Council members of the UN, to take a decision. This is a 20th century issue. which is historicized for more than 3,000 years, and we have passed it to 21st century for our future generation. It should stop here. The issue of two-state solution had been accepted. And that is exactly PLO chair Yasser Arafat, who is the father of the nation of Palestinian as they consider, has also stood before his life ended. And that is the international position that every person who knows about politics, knows about democracy, knows about justice had advocated. And therefore, Sri Lanka is bold enough to be one of the few countries to debate this issue in our own parliament. In March this year, the UK Parliament debated about the rightful existence of the state of Palestinian. Therefore, we are a state who is trying to establish democracy by our multicultural identity and multicultural nationhood. I had argued to say Sri Lanka is a plurination state. There are people who claim themselves to be nations. There are people who claim to be communities. There are people who claim to say they are a religious identity. Therefore, our lessons learned. Sri Lanka, if Sri Lanka has a lesson to offer to the world, that is, with all the potential of being a model democracy, a modern democracy, a strong economy, we suffered because we did not recognize each other's existence. Whether you were Tamil, whether you were Sinhalese, whether you were Muslim, the historic position had been challenged by each other. Therefore, this is the time for us as a state, nations living within the state, to come together, learn the lessons from Palestinian history. There is no justice, there is no peace without justice. So claimed Bishop Tutu, who worked with Stephen Biko and who worked with great Mandela. Therefore, we also must remember the other side of the coin, because there is no future without forgiveness. So therefore, let us agree on the policy of asking and giving forgiveness. That we do not ask for retributive justice, but we ask for deliberative and restorative justice. Because I cannot bring another person who had gone no more. I do not know the pain of the mothers of Jaffna. I have only seen and witnessed it. I do not know the pain of an intellectual in Palestine, but I have seen and witnessed
Honorable Minister, you have 2 more minutes.
Therefore, as an assembly here, committed for participatory democracy, though it is majoritarian in its practice, let us commit ourselves as a nation, as a state, to ask the international community to deliver justice without delay. Because delayed justice is denied justice. Because injustice here is denied justice here is injustice everywhere to the future. Therefore, I resolve and I stand by the whole discussion for a two-state solution and to have fair play and without delay announcing the statehood of Palestine and those people in Palestine. I thank you, sir.